happened was not just, the game changers are not just people, they can be events, they can be technologies. And one of the events that was happening was in California, a new law was being passed. It was in 1997. We nicknamed it the Hazardous Sports Laws, California Government Code, I think 831.7 something something. But it prevented a private property owner from being sued by an enthusiast if the enthusiast got hurt conducting what was considered a hazardous sport on their property. So this now allowed municipalities all over the place to build skate parks. Alva in the 70s, he changed the game in terms of skateboarding because he added style, he added personality to the mix. It was no longer just about skateboarding through slalom or doing 360s. Alva added style. He could wear sunglasses at night. He had the FU attitude. He brought the attitude that kids now wanted to be like him. But Volcom came out, big game changer, because they marketed to the lifestyle of action sports. They made cool something that they were marketing towards. By adding lifestyle to the mix, it lets companies then market through the ambassadors, the brand ambassadors who represent that lifestyle. When Tony Hawk did the famous 900 back in 1999, it wasn't because he had completed 2.5 aerial rotations in the air before he landed. It's because he fell down and slammed 12 times before he got up and got it done on the 13th try. It was about falling down and getting back up. Mickey Vukovic from the Tony Hawk Foundation, he says, skateboarding is a series of personal successes. It's building upon it, it's improving it, so it's getting better and better. And because of that, we can attach to that, and then as companies, we can brand ourselves through that progressive energy. All kids want to grow up and be famous or pro ball players, but it's not until recently that they want to be pro snowboarders, pro skateboarders, pro motocross athletes. And that's because now we can do this for a living and earn more than just the purse money. Now we have sponsor money coming in and supporting these athletes and the venues. Board sports have become action sports, and hobbyists are becoming professionals, and video technology is allowing us to show this and air this to wider audiences. Now brands can start, like Volcom did, become lifestyle brands. They can market to wider audiences. Advertising is a short-term message to remind you to do something. Okay, the Labor Day sale is coming up next weekend, or we have 20% off, or come to our store, we have a big open house. That's advertising. Marketing generates demand. Marketing is what you do to get your customers to come in and either to your store or to pull the products off the shelf. Branding is what creates an emotional attachment to your brand. It's what positions the brand, its reputation in the mind of the buyer. When I talked to Mark Hall Mark is the founder of Monster and the president of Monster Energy, I said, Mark, what's the secret? Why don't you go put ads up all over Qualcomm? And he says, Alex, kids don't want to be like the Anaheim Stadium. Kids want to be like Mike Metzger. Kids want to be like Tony Alva. Kids want to be like their idols, the athletes that they're watching performing. The athletes are not only showing the logos, sure, that's great. We get so many logo impressions all the time that additional logo impressions, I would argue, really don't matter at all. But when the athletes are proving functionality and they're endorsing a product by using it, well, that's what generates demand. And that's what Monster does. Monster puts cans of their beverage in the hands of all the winners on the podium so that the kids will see them drinking, and then, ooh, if it's good enough for these guys, it's good enough for me. Really, things are changing, and the opportunity's there. Anybody in this audience could start the next big thing, and you guys could start it tomorrow. In 2 years, it could be the next big thing. Look at Justin Bieber. How he went from being a very good recording artist. His mom used social media, YouTube primarily, to really create the recognition, and then boom, it took off. We can use these tools and we can use these technologies as an incubator to incubate our ideas and our businesses. That's what's key with social media. Thanks for coming, and there's gonna be beer and bingo at my house after the party.
We're not where we need to be as an industry at the moment. Our industry is stagnated, and it's not just our industry, but the entire kind of apparel and footwear industry has stagnated to a point, and it's not all our fault. There's lots of headwinds, but for example, our industry was born from all of the equipment. PT was saying this morning, our industry was founded on surfboard shapers and skaters and skateboard manufacturers, but the fact is we've made our money and we've had our growth from footwear and apparel. That industry, the total worth of that industry is $800 billion. The expected growth from the US and Europe in the next 2 years is 2%. So do you know anybody that runs a company, anybody that's in a job that's happy with 2% growth? Absolutely not. 2% is unacceptable. And so the only way we're going to get out of that, the only way that we're going to punch through that headwind is we've got to innovate. One person on this panel that I believe is a truly observant person, and I've studied him, is Fernando Aguirre. He has a way of going out there and studying the market. Fernando, can you talk a little bit about in the days when you would travel and market research and how you would observe the market in order to come up with your new ideas?
Well, I think, the ideas are out there. It's like life is like a food table, like a food bar. It's a lot of food. It's a lot of ideas out there when you walk. And I just spent like a week with my children and my girlfriend in New York. And what I enjoyed the most was not looking at big buildings and taxi, all over the place, but talking to the taxi drivers. I never talked to anyone that was from the same country as the last one. I don't know. We took maybe 30, 40 taxis, and there were a lot of great things to understand. And in why people come to America, what is it good, and why we have problems that we have right now. When you understand all these people, some of them are not actually coming, they're going back. You see, the taxi driver is going back to their country because it's from Brazil or from India, and it's for me the ideas. I think the most important source of ideas is anything that is not being done. Why? A lot of the time, if it's not done, it's because it's bad. No. If it's not done, it's because nobody actually said, this is a good idea. So there are, it might be a girl in a small bikini. That might be one. But there's a lot of great ideas in everything that you do and you see and you smell and you eat. And the ideas don't come from us. I don't think it comes from the outside of our world.
I'm happy to echo the same things that Fernando was saying, just that I don't know of too many original ideas. In one entrepreneurial thought, I get the opportunity to see a lot of business plans and a lot of entrepreneurs looking for financing. And some of those entrepreneurs, it's clear that they're going to build that business, with or without the help of a financier. That they have grabbed these ideas from out of the world, and they view the ability to execute on that is their defense. Whereas other entrepreneurs are thinking about patents, or you need to sign my non-disclosure agreement because I'm the only guy in the world that has this idea and it's truly unique. And the reality is, I believe that most ideas, if you're having it, there's probably many other people somewhere out there in the world that are seeing that same picture that you are, assimilating the information, having that same idea, that same aha moment. And therefore, the only differentiation is really that ability to execute.
It's just being yourself. I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they were talking. They were laughing about something I was saying. I said, I'm just saying what you're thinking. We are, education in reality is the domestication of our souls. It kind of tames us down, through the education system. We call it education system. You spend 20 years being prepared in a shitty way, really, to express yourself and be yourself.
But asking questions is super important. Somebody that I think asks questions fantastic is Shani Joe.
Hey, well, breast cancer, as you guys know, isn't an action sport or anything, but that's my background. I was raised in action sports, and I have a background as a clothing designer, so that's the industry that I know and that I feel most comfortable in. And keep abreast and breast cancer in general, it's a global problem. It's something that's wrong. It's something that probably everyone in this audience has been impacted by at one point or another. And when I started to know personally young people that were being diagnosed with breast cancer, it really made me really mad. And really mad in a way that their needs weren't being addressed. There was no information for young people. There was no organizations for young people. Why isn't there anything for young women? Young women are getting breast cancer. Okay, well, let's figure it out, With Keep Abreast, we do so many events all over the world. We're on the road pretty much every day with our traveling education booth, talking to young people, talking to young women who are breast cancer survivors, and really trying to change the face of this disease.
From networking and meeting people is the only way I discovered what I've been able to do. From the first business I started when I was in retail and snowboard shops, and everybody said, "You're gonna open a snowboard shop in Beaver Creek, Colorado? That's the stupidest idea I ever heard." But then I went to people that had nothing to do with it, and someone gave me a chance by just me listening to that person and me understanding where they're coming from and why they took the risk in investing in me. Tonight I learned something already. And hopefully I'll learn something still the rest of the evening. So I think that's my big reasoning for networking and trying to be around as many people as I can that maybe I'm not comfortable with or I don't know. That's probably my little